Hey everyone, in this video we're going to learn how to compare datasets. Our first example, the following box plots represent the number of juniors and seniors at the last 10 meetings of the student government. Looking at the box plots, the horizontal axis represents the attendance, or the number of students. The lower box plot represents the juniors. The upper box plot represents the seniors. Now when defining a box plot, remember we need 5 values: the minimum, the first quartile, the median, the third quartile, and the maximum. And each part of the box plot represents 25% of the data. If we were describing the shape of each box plot, the junior box plot we would describe as symmetric. Right? The box and the lines, or the whiskers as they're referred to, are equal. And for the senior box plot, we would describe that as skewed right. 50% of the data is compact, clustered right here, and then it would tail off to the right with this longer part of the box plot. So now that we've covered a few review topics about box plots, let's turn our attention to the questions that we've been given. Which class had a higher median attendance? Okay, so for the juniors, the median attendance, that line in the middle of the box, was 15. And for the seniors, the median attendance, middle right there, is at 16. So the higher median attendance was the seniors. Which class had a smaller IQR, or interquartile range? So remember, that's the difference between the first and the third quartiles. So for the junior class, that's 17 minus 13. So that's an IQR of 4. And for the senior class, that's 20 minus 14, which is 6. So the smaller interquartile range is in the junior class. We can see that visually as well in the fact that the junior class box plot is smaller, or the box is smaller, I should say. And what that means is that the first and the third quartile are closer together, so the interquartile range would be smaller in comparison to that of the senior class. What class had the highest single meeting attendance? So there we're just comparing the maximum value represented by each box plot. So for the juniors, that's a maximum attendance of 20. And for the seniors, that's a maximum attendance of 25. So the class that had the highest single meeting attendance would be the seniors. And then which class has less variability in their meeting attendance? So variability is asking about the spread of the data. So less variability, we're looking for the data set that's more compact, more data in a smaller interval. So for these box plots, a good way to determine that would be to compare their IQRs, their interquartile range. So for the junior class, they have a smaller interquartile range than the senior class. So that means that the data set for the juniors is less variable. Okay, so the juniors, and there's a lower IQR. We could have also justified that by saying the junior class has a smaller range. Not as good of a justification, but the junior class has a range of 10, whereas the senior class has a range of 13. But more importantly, right, looking at the box plot, 50% of the data is in the box. Right, so having a smaller IQR means 50% of the data is in a much smaller interval than compared to the senior class. Okay, so that's how we can compare variability. And it's tough to say there's a perfect answer each time, but what we're looking for is you to justify your reasoning, right? Why did you pick the juniors, or why did you pick the seniors? Is there some statistic that backs up your choice? The following dot plots represent the number of hours 28 people spent reading and watching television over the past week. So hours spent reading, we see it go from 1 to 8, and we have our dot plot that is skewed right. Most of the data is to the left, and then the tail is to the right. Now remember what that means. That means that this tail, these data points, are going to pull the mean to the right of the median, hence skewed right. For the hours spent watching TV, we would describe that data set as symmetric. right? Not perfectly symmetric, but it is symmetric. And there, the mean and median would be right about in the center. Now remember, for a skewed data set, median is a better measure of center, and the interquartile range is a better measure of spread. For a symmetric data set, mean is a better measure of center, and the standard deviation is a better measure of spread. Okay, so a lot of great review here. Now looking at the questions, which data set is skewed right? Well, we already answered that. That's the reading data set. Which data set has a smaller range? Okay, so we can actually compute this numerically. So for the reading data set, that's the max minus the min, so 8 minus 1, which is 7. And for the TV data set, that's 8 minus 3, which is 5. So smaller range is the TV data set. Which data set has more variability? Well, before we answer this, let's break down each dot plot. There are 28 dots in each, so let's break up into the quartiles and the median. Right, so 28, so 7 dots for each quartile. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So right there, that's quartile 1, Q1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So right there, that's the median. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that means right in between 4 and 5 is the third quartile. Right, so writing this out, quartile 1 is 2, median is 3, and quartile 3 is 4.5. Now working in this data set, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that's Q1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's our median. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's quartile 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so quartile 1 is 5. Median is 6. Quartile 3 is 7. Okay, so which data set has more variability? Well, if we just look at the interquartile range here, for this data set, it would be 2. For this data set, it would be 2.5. So which data set has more variability? That would be the reading data set, right? A larger interquartile range. Now, we could also justify that just by looking at the data set. A little bit tougher to do, but if we look at the TV data set, right, most of the data is 5, 6, or 7, right? In that really narrow interval. Whereas for the hours spent reading, we have most of the data at 1 or 2, but then a really long tail to that data, spread out all the way from 3 to 8. Okay, so there's definitely more variability. We could also look at the range here as a good way to justify our answer. For reading, the range was 7 compared for TV, which is 5. Right, so just in the range, we also see more variability in the reading data set. Again, the idea here is picking a statistic that justifies your conclusion. Which data set has a higher mean? Okay, so for the symmetric data set, the mean and median are usually about the same. So we'd say that the mean would be about 6. Maybe it's not exactly 6, but saves us some work. Now, in this example, it's skewed right. So the mean is going to be pulled to the right of the median. Okay, so the median is 3. So the mean is going to be pulled to the right of 3. Now it's not going to be pulled drastically, right? Because there's only a few data points here. Maybe it's pulled to 4, maybe 4.5 at the most. But it really wouldn't be pulled any further than that. So which data set has the higher mean? Just off of our reasoning, we can conclude that the TV data set has a higher mean. Now, let's say it's too close to tell. Well, then we can actually find the mean of each of these data sets. It would take a little bit of time, but it's worth it to get the question right. Right? We can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 times 1 plus 2 times 7 plus 3 times 4 plus 4 times 4 plus 5 times 3 plus 6 times 1 plus 7 times 2 plus 8 times 1. Divide that by 28, we would get the mean or the average for the reading data set. And we can do the same thing for the TB dataset. In the hours spent reading dataset, if we remove the data point at 8, what impact would that have on the mean and on the median? Okay, so we're removing 8. Well, what effect is that going to have on the mean? Well, 8 was the farthest data point, right, in the tail, and that would pull the mean the most to the right. So if we remove it, well, the mean's not going to be pulled to the right as much then. So the mean's going to go back a little bit towards the median. So the mean without the data point at 8 would be lower, right? So the new mean would be lower. And then what about the median? Well, the median, so now we have 27 data points. So the 14th data point would be the median now. So let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Right there at 3. So we noticed that the median is unchanged in this example. Now, could it have changed? Of course. But in this case, the median is going to stay the same. To answer that question, we just had to check what the new median would be. Okay, so mean, we answered by some reasoning, and the median, we actually just figured out what the new median would be. Christina and Ben are both taking a statistics course. Christina's test scores so far have been 75, 80, 88, 86, and 82. Ben's test scores so far have been 90, 81, 100, 77, and 88. And we want to determine if the following statements are true or false. In order to do that, let's figure out what the mean, the median, the quartiles, let's figure out all our statistics. Best way to do that is with the calculator. Okay, so I'll pull out my calculator. We're going to hit that stat key and hit edit. Now my list is empty, yours might not. If yours isn't, scroll up one, hit clear and enter, and then you'll have a nice clear list. So we're going to go 75, hit enter, 80, 88, 86, and the one that we're covering, that's 82. Okay, so 5 data points, we're good. We're going to hit stat again. Scroll to the right to calc, 1 var stats, 1 variable statistics. Make sure you have that L1 there. You might just have 1 var stats, that's fine. Hit enter, and we should all see this screen here. I'll drag it into our notes, and then I'll scroll down so we have the missing values, and drag that in as well. Okay, so there is all of Christina's statistics. You don't have to write all of this down. We'll pick and choose what we need, and you can write those values down. Now we need to do the same for Ben. So stat, edit. We need to clear that list again. So scroll up, clear, enter. Then we have 90, 81, 100, 77, 88. So there's our 5 data points. We're going to hit stat, scroll to the right, calc, 1 var stats, 1 variable statistics again, calculate, and this is the screen we should all get for Ben. So I'll drag it into our notes again, scroll down to get that 5-number summary, and I'll move it so they're not covering one another. And there is Ben. All right, so before we move to the true false, let's just go over a few things. Remember, X bar is the mean, the average. Sigma, that little circle looking symbol, is the standard deviation. N equals 5 means we input 5 data points in, so that's always a good check to make sure we didn't miss any or have too many. And then we have min, quartile 1, median, quartile 3, and max. There's that 5-number summary we use to create box plots. And then we can see the same for Ben. Okay, so now we can use all of this to answer the following. So Christina has a higher average test score than Ben. Is that true or false? Should also have a period there. Okay, so Christina's average is 82.2. And Ben's average is 87.2. So Ben's is higher, so this statement then is false. The standard deviation of Christina's test scores is less than the standard deviation of Ben's test scores. Okay, so for Christina, remember that sigma symbol, that circle-looking symbol? We'll go 3 decimal places for our comparison. So 4.578 is the standard deviation of Christina's test scores. And for Ben, that's 7.935. Okay, so does Christina's test scores have a lower standard deviation? That is true. Now again, what does that mean? That means the spread, how spread out Christina's test scores are, is lower than how spread out Ben's test scores are. And we can kind of get that just by looking at the actual scores. Right? Christina's are much closer together than Ben's are. So her standard deviation, her measure of spread then, should be smaller. Ben has a larger range of test scores than Christina. Okay, so that's the max minus the min. That's part of our 5-number summary. So for Christina, that's 88 minus 75. So 88 minus 75, so that's a range of 13. And for Ben, that's 100 minus 77, which is 23. So Ben does have a larger range of test scores, so that's true. And again, we could have seen that just from the list, but it's nice to verify it mathematically. The interquartile range of both Christina and Ben's test scores is the same. So interquartile range, that's the difference between the first and the third quartile. So for Christina, that's 87 minus 77.5. So that's going to be 9.5. And for Ben, that's 95 minus 79. So that's going to be 16. So we can see pretty clearly that they are not the same. So this statement is false. Okay, so our main goal was comparing data sets. And within that, we got a lot of review of all the different statistics concepts that we've talked about. So now it's your turn to go and practice with this, whether it's interpreting what you're given or creating your own to answer a few questions. It's great practice with this whole unit. Click the Amazon link down below for my algebra workbook so you can practice on your own. Give the video a like, and before you go, click that subscribe button so you can see more videos just like this. Thanks for watching.